Focus, determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment, and by Proforma, Elite Texas Graphics. Live, Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
We're about halfway through our campaign for a new season, which has offered everything from close fought battles for the lead, heartbreak for the determined, tears for the grinders, glory for the triumphant. Let's find out who'll etch their name into the history books as winners here at Twin Ring Motegi. It's located in Japan, and it hosts the 5th round of Season 16 for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. All coverage is on your beloved Apex Racing TV. Look at the track details on screen. It's a 4.8 kilometer circuit. That's 2.9 miles. It rounds itself clockwise. There are 14 corners around the GP layout here. A circuit that heads under the 1.5 mile oval speedway here twice. We head there through the middle part of the lap, and then to end the lap, we head back under that banked oval. It'll be 60 minutes of racing action for all 3 classes of cars today. Elevation change around here, believe it or not, 30 meters. It looks like a very flat track at times, but there is copious amounts of elevation change. It's 250 meters from pole position to turn 1, so for the rolling start, don't expect too much action heading into the first corner, but look for those overtaking spots into turns 2, 3, and 4 as we have a good run into each of those medium speed corners. The pit window is around about the middle of the race for each class of car, but we'll give you a better rundown of that later on in our preview. Good afternoon, everybody. Jonathan Simon on hand in the commentary booth. Tyler Maxson alongside me. Tyler, the one thing about Motegi that's simulated well by iRacing is the Japanese tarmac. It's structurally different compared to other tarmacs, say in the US, for instance, and that means the tires can behave slightly differently depending on the car.
Yeah, they most certainly can, and it can just be a real change for a lot of the drivers when they're coming to learn Motegi. I mean, this is one of those circuits. Either you're fast here or you're not. You've either figured it out or you really just haven't, and that could be crucial, especially when you're talking about championships, because this is a crucial race. We're kind of getting to that midway point in the season almost where it's important to start getting the points and getting yourself into a position to win the championship. And this track right here, it's an important one because of the fact that points are crucial, and you just really, at this point, you don't want to be using this as your drop round if you don't have to.
Most certainly not. Now, it's a track that includes a lot of complex corners, and you can see on screen a lot of medium speed corners, a lot of heavy braking zones, and we're going to give you a detailed run of that in today's track guide.
Welcome, everyone, to Twin Ring Motegi, located here in Motegi, Japan. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today in the Ford Mustang around this 3-mile road course. Motegi was built in 1998 by auto manufacturer Honda, in part to bring the IndyCar series to Japan. Danica Patrick captured her first and only IndyCar win here at Motegi in 2008. Even NASCAR has had a taste of Motegi, racing here on the oval portion of the track during its inaugural year. This is a mostly flat and very fast track, as you will see as we begin our trek up the front straightaway here, moving up through the gears. We'll notice our main grandstands to the left on the other side of the oval portion, pit area to the right as we come across the stripe. Down into turn 1, we hit the 50-meter board, down into third gear, Let the car lift down into second. And let's get a good, nice, fast launch off this first corner here. Out of turn 2, onto the short straightaway here that leads us down to another double corner, double apex here, a left-hander this time as we hit the 70 meter, get down through the gears into second, get right down to the apex, let the car track out wide, and get a nice run up through turn 4. As we come out of the exit, this is a pretty fast section here. This portion is a good overtaking opportunity for drivers coming down into the entry of 5. Heavy on the brakes, very difficult, hard right-hander. Press that apex, get right back to throttle under the bridge of the backstretch of the oval course. Coming up through 6, this is a flat-out corner, wide open through here. You want to stay right and set up for 7 and 8, the S's. Right to the bottom, let that car stay left, track out a little bit, get a late apex into 8, get right back to throttle, track all the way out to get that speed and up into 9 here. Another hard left-hander down into second gear, very tight on entry, wide open on exit, got to be careful there. It's real easy to get loose coming out of 9. This brings us down to the only hairpin on the track, turn 10. Very late apex here, down into second gear. Let the car rotate in the center, start getting back to throttle, and get a good launch up onto the longest straightaway here at Motegi, the downhill straight. As we crest the hill down into turn 11, another big passing opportunity down into this corner. Probably the most popular passing zone here at Motegi. Hard on the brakes, down into 11, back to throttle, up into third, underneath the oval portion of the track, around turn 12, and now heavy braking down into 13. Let the car roll back to the center of the apex to the right. Wide open up off the corner there, known as Victory Corner. This brings us back out onto the front straightaway and across the start-finish line. There's your lap and your track guide for Twin Ring Motegi here in Japan.
Hope you enjoyed today's track guide. Now, of course, the series is presented by Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment and, of course, Performer Elite Texas Graphics. They sponsor today's qualifying session, which is currently underway for the moment. But check both of those guys out at their associated websites. Now, let's look at the championship for a second. So, Kevin Carlisle leads after taking back-to-back victories the past couple of rounds. The luck finally on his side. I remember at Interlagos, he had a good opportunity to do so as well there. Not so much at Sebring. But I tell you what, Tyler, William Laster, if he can still commit to the series, because there's questions that he may not attend for the rest of the rounds due to some other commitments, he's still in contention for the championship here, but it's looking likely that it might be between two of Rallycross stars of Kevin Carlisle and Matthew Madigan.
Yeah, it is looking ever so much more likely that that's going to become the case. I mean, those guys really just have been the fastest two guys that have been here consistently. And like you said, William Laster, he was a serious competitor for the championship, but if he's having to miss the rest of the rounds, obviously he is going to be well out of contention for it. And currently even sits down in 4th place. So he's it's so unfortunate because really he was just so quick was William Laster, and he would have been a serious threat for getting that championship win. But now I think it's really down to Carlisle and Madigan for this championship if Laster doesn't return.
So that was the TCR standings for the Mustang class, also known as GS, which stands for Grand Sport. You'll see that on the left-hand side of the screen during the overlay. We'll separate all three classes, of course. Ironom, I mean, his win streak was cracked at Interlagos, but he's bounced back in style over the past couple of events. Today he looks to extend his 6-point lead over Mike Dam, who's returned to that car from the MX-5. And there you can see at the top of the screen, you can see the 3 colors that identify each class of car. But for the moment, Tyler, Ironom is on pole position by 0.5 of a second, and you'd say that he's in the best opportunity right now, the best situation, and the best position to win this race yet again and make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, it most certainly is. Ironom, I mean, he's been quick, but Mike Dam has been able to challenge him week in and week out. Mike Dam is still a serious threat to Ironom in the championship. He is far from over with that championship is Aeronom. Aeronom has a very strong competitor in Mike Dam, and he's got to keep an eye out, and he's really got to be putting the work in because he can't just show up and not do any practice like he famously did a bunch last season. He's actually got to kind of work for this one.
Yeah, he's got to switch on as soon as possible. For the MX5 standings, it's a lot closer. Now, they're currently in qualifying, and Elvis Rankin has provisional pole position. DJ Alessandrini, believe it or not, is all the way down in the 4th row of the grid. Now, he leads the championship, DJ Alessandrini, but for Rankin, he had a round to forget last time out at Brands Hatch for our first of 2 endurance races for the year. Does the young man have what it takes to climb back on top? So far, he's showing it in qualifying, but we know he's always been a stronger qualifier than a racer.
He has been a stronger qualifier than a racer historically, but you have to keep in mind, though, Elvis Rankin really does have some pace, and he's gotten a lot of racecraft this season. I mean, he has grown that over the course of the entire championship, and these few years, or the few seasons, that he's been in this, he's just gained that racecraft, gained the knowledge that he needs to really put this season together. And thus far, it's gone together very well for him, and he does still have a shot at it. Yes, I do personally believe that Elvis Rankin has a legitimate shot at claiming the championship.
Yeah, most certainly. Now, can we switch on that track map again of Motegi? Because there's a bit to discuss here about this circuit, and there it is. So you can see at the bottom left-hand side of the track map, that little red line where all the faded cars are. Those are the cars currently in the pit lane, of course. But that's your start-finish straight. Now, we head into turn 1, Tyler, that double apex right-hander, including turns 2 and 3, and then 4 afterwards, the other right-hander. Those are some good overtaking opportunities here to begin this race. And for anybody, especially DJ Alessandrini, who's qualified poorly, it's a great chance for them to make up an immense amount of positions.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, for somebody like DJ Alessandrini, he's got incredible qualifying. I should rephrase that. He hasn't had the best qualifying pace in the championship. I mean, he's just not been the strongest qualifier, but every single race, we see DJ out in the front fighting for the race lead. So he definitely has more race pace than he does qualifying pace, and I think we're just going to see him put that together here today at Motegi, and he may have a legitimate shot at a victory.
And then look at the hairpin on the right-hand side, Tyler. So that is known as turn 10, and then we run into the downhill braking zone of turn 11 after the longest straight at Motegi here. Another 2 good overtaking spots. I remember I covered a British touring car league about 4 or 5 years ago that had the likes of Paul Smith, Ashley Sutton, a lot of great talent out there from the British world. And when we raced around here, that turn 11 downhill braking zone caused so much chaos, so much bumping and rubbing, a lot of action. I can't wait to see what it can produce today in terms of overtaking too.
Yeah, and that's one of the corners where drivers really have to be careful because it's easy to outbrake yourself and go out into the gravel trap. And you can see it. Here it is right about in this section right here. It's very tough to get through here perfectly and not have any major issues. And especially if you're going for a late dive into the corner, you've also got to be careful with the driver on the outside, knowing that you're there. Make sure that he's just not going to turn in on you and wipe you both out of the event. So it's a great passing opportunity, but like you said, it can cause some incredible amount of chaos.
So qualifying's almost wrapped up. We'll have a look at the grid when the session switches over. Am I too early, Tyler? It says we have 2.5 minutes remaining. I might be way too early for that.
Yeah, we have quite a bit of time left in the session. Yes, you are exactly right. We have 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay. So we'll wait for that for the moment. But what was I going to say now? Now it has made me forget. Oh, about the grid sizes. So we've seen the TCR grid size drop off just a little bit. And look at that. 7 drivers in our top class here today. What does that mean for these 7 drivers today? Is there anything we need to consider? Do we need to even think about this at all, or do we just go to racing?
I don't really think that that's necessarily a big deal. I think that Honestly, we've seen a decrease for this race in particular. There's actually been a decrease in the entire field, not only in your TCR class, but also in your MX-5s, which we saw be the biggest field in the season. So I think that's just kind of a Motegi thing. I think a lot of drivers don't quite get along with this place, so a lot of them decide not to run it. But even though we only have a 7-car field, the top 6 are within 0.3 of each other, so it's certainly close.
Now, we're going to delay the race start here by a few minutes, only because they're just trying to sort out an issue with race marshalling. So the race will begin as soon as possible. So if you're watching this race from any of our associated platforms, just stay tuned. We'll keep you hopefully entertained in the next couple of minutes. But this is your Mustang order out there. Aaron and Mike Dam just dominating this field. The Mech Motorsports drivers, the Mech Motorsport driver of Shiflet out there racing, doesn't have his teammate Clint Vigas to support him today. So it'll be a tough podium for Shiflet if he can get it done. But when we switch to the MX-5 order for the moment, the results from qualifying, Tyler, for those that may be new to the series, you race the MX-5 in the real world, and it's a car that you've mastered. You were a series champion in 2019. What's the go for you in 2020? When are you going to get back to racing?
Yeah, we're getting back to racing, and we're going to be driving the Hyundai Veloster TCR next year, so really excited to get behind the wheel of that thing. It's an absolute beast to drive. We've done already 2 tests in it, and we're really excited about our pace that we have heading into our first round of the TC America Championship.
Yeah, I like that. Where's that going to be?
It will take place in Austin, Texas, at COTA. So
COTA.
Yeah, very fun track.
Are you going to use the full layout, or are you going to use that west layout, the one that cuts half the track?
No, we actually used the full layout for that race, but grid is up on your screen now.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Okay, that was a very abrupt. Eric Violet will start from pole position for the D2D Esports team. Now, you can see his teammate behind him of Whitworth. It's up to Madigan, though. Is that correct, by the way? Yeah, it is. Okay. Matthew Madigan starts in second. Kevin Carlisle, our championship leader, poor performance in qualifying. He'll start from fourth, so he'll have a lot of work to do for himself there. Bobby Childs will start from fifth. You can see 3 D2D Esports drivers occupying that same column in our first 3 rows. Lucas Ford and then Tony Kernan round out the top 7. It'll be Aero Nom starting on pole position for Team Bushfink Racing, just ahead of Mike Dam, the Canadian, for Crypto-G Orange Racing. Now look down the order, of course. There it is. Tyler Shiflet, Kevin Ford, starting down in 4th and 5th respectively, just behind Jeff Jacobs. And that's a brilliant qualifying performance from Jeff Jacobs. Kevin Ford's got his work cut out for him. So does Shiflet to climb into the best of the rest podium position. And then look at the grid for MX-5 now. So whilst we updated you that Elvis Rankin was going to start from pole provisionally, DJ Alessandrini has put in a clutch lap time. So has John Allen. He improved from second to second. What I mean by that is he improved to first. DJ Alessandrini pipped him for the first position anyway. So those two will start in the front row. There's Rankin in third. A lot of pressure on the young man to start from that position. That'll be Travis Schwenke in fourth. Don't see Robert Hartley racing today. He hasn't had the best of championships, and I think we can count his championship hopes all over right now, because he has, he's an immense amount of points behind. I think it's around 40 off the top of my head. And without him racing today, he's going to climb further down the field. And I say climb, that's a poor choice of words. He's going to fall further down the field. Couple of other drivers out there. Jacob Beasley in his first season with the D2D Esports team, ahead of Derek Holland. Brendan Horan also starting down the order. The field will be rounded out by Patrick Prevenas. 31 cars out there. Our race marshal seems to be there and seems to be ready, I think, Tyler. We haven't had official confirmation that the race is beginning, but the race marshal's been able to connect. Part of the race now. I think we should be able to go green sometime soon. Here is our field.
So here we go. Eric Violet will lead the field around for your TCRs. The pace car will pull off, and the field will be in the hands of Eric Violet, Aero Nom, and DJ Alessandrini. But Eric Violet will round the final corner. And we wait for the lights to come on now. Green flag in the air.
So TCR goes on the iRacing green. The rest of the classes go on the race marshal's command, but it's Eric Violet leading into the first corner right now. Whitworth second. Madigan slots himself in a third. There's Lucas Ford down the back end of the order. He's dropped to last here at the start. Tony Kernan making up a spot, but for Carlisle, a poor getaway. Bobby Childs has pipped him into the fourth position. So for Carlisle, he's got an immense amount of work to do for that Apex Racing Team vehicle.
Yes, he does, but he'll immediately get to work on it. He'll move up into fourth place ahead of Bobby Childs. Now let's jump back to your Mustangs, and Aeronom's been spun before the greens even come out, and he's spinning around. And actually, sorry, the green flag actually had come out then. That was out of turn number 1.
And look at the damage. His race could be over already. Our championship leader, our dominant, the Michael Schumacher of that class for the past few seasons. And already a bit of argy-bargy for the beginning of the MX-5 order. It's difficult to see who's in first. Is that DJ Alessandrini? It is, in the number 91. Then we have John Allen in second. Look at third position, though. Schwenke already jumping ahead of the young Elvis Rankin. Now into the first few corners they go. Rankin has a brilliant up and under here on Travis Schwenke. Might have a peek up the inside heading into turn 4 for the moment. Already drama, though. I want to know where Aeronom is. Has he pulled that car off to the side of the racetrack, or is this field going to catch him?
I think Aeronom is very slow indeed. He's got a lot of damage. Oh, yeah, you can just see how much damage he has to the rear end of that Mustang. So I think that's going to be Aeronom's day done and dusted. Once we get to the end of this lap and everything settles down with your MX-5s, we will go to a replay so that we can see what happened to Aeronom once again.
Goodness me, dramatic start already here. And now we still watch the lead of your MX-5 field. Eric Violet, by the way, still leads your TCR order. They're coming towards the end of their first lap for the moment. He's ahead of Brandon Whitworth. So Madigan's fallen down to third. And there they are to end the first lap here. So it's Violet from Whitworth. Madigan dropped down to third at the start. Carlisle back ahead into fourth. Tony Kernan's had a big getaway right now, up in a fifth, but Bobby Childs dropped down to sixth after he was in fourth. He did promote himself up into the fourth position for a moment's time. Issues here for third place Matthew Madigan, and that's caused a concertina effect behind for Carlisle. He's under attack now from the fifth place of Tony Kernan.
Yeah, Carlisle massively under attack then. Now from Kernan, he got a bit of a kind of a shove off the side then by Matt Madigan. But then we'll jump down here. Let's check out on your Mustang field. Tyler Shiflett leads this one from Jeff Jacobs. Then Kevin Ford sits down in third place. I mean, what a start there for Kevin Ford. He's up 2 spots already. The Daniel Rash behind him, he's up 3.
And Aeronom is officially out of the race here. It's confirmed. So his race is over. Here's a replay. So this is going into 1 already. So the Mustang start, it looked like they were going out of the final corner for a second. Oh, and that's, I mean, you got to put that on. That's a tough one, isn't it? Mike Dam had nowhere to go. I'm not sure if Aeronom saw him. But I don't know, Tyler. That's a tough one to judge.
I'd like to see that once again. Let's ride on board with Mike Dam. So let's see. Oh, yeah. Aeronom, I kind of struggle to put that one on Mike Dam, to be honest with you. I think Aeronom just kind of ran him out of room, and Mike was pretty much forced to take to the grass and then just couldn't back out of it quick enough.
Yeah, I feel like Aeronom misjudged that, unfortunately, and it's very rare to see an error from our lone Estonian in the field. But for Aeronom to have a DNF to his name, it's so rare to see here, especially in modern-day motor racing. But we switch back to the lead order of our MX-5 field. Here's Alessandrini with a topsy-turvy exit there. Now heading into what looks like turn 10. I believe we're at turn 10, correct? Yes, it is. So turn 10 on the racetrack. This is the alternate pit straight here that you can use in iRacing. And Alessandrini will still lead ahead of John Allen. For Elvis Rankin, lost a couple of positions here at the start, so not good for him, but he's still in this train. And have a look at Jason Bossy in the eSport Racer car. He's also in contention here in this lead group, if he can just remain in a slipstream. The slipstream, Tyler, one of the most important things in the MX-5.
Yeah, it really is, and it's a very tough thing to master, but all the guys in the front of this field have done just that. They've mastered the slipstream in the MX-5, and they use it to their absolute advantage, which you really have to do. I mean, if you get a run on someone in the slipstream, you've either got to push them or you've got to pass them, and there's really nowhere in between, as Jason Bosse goes fastest in your MX-5s right now, so he's got some pace sitting back in 5th place.
Looking good is Jason Bosse. And the lead for your TCR battles kicking off right now. Carlisle into 3rd. That's happened in the background for the moment. Madigan's dropped down to 4th, so issues for Madigan in the past couple of laps. And look at Carlisle here. He's looking for 2nd position. There's a reason why he leads this championship. Oh, no, excuse me. That's the other way around. Sorry. That's Madigan looking at Carlisle for the 3rd position. So there's a bit of work to do here for Carlisle to catch your lead too. They're about 3 seconds up the road. We're right on board with Madigan. You can see the leaders up ahead. They're about, as I said, 3 seconds up the road. And there's Lucas Ford. I'm not sure. Is Lucas Ford on the defensive, Tyler? It's hard to see. Is he making a move? I think he is on Bobby Childs.
I don't think so. I think Bobby Childs is just a little bit behind him here. So Childs currently sitting on the 7th place. I'm actually kind of surprised here because Childs had quite good pace in qualifying. I think he qualified in 5th place, but he sends a move now down the inside of Lucas Ford. It'll make that move very easily into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, good stuff there. That's Childs back in the 6th. So I believe that was a position change. They were side by side across the line. The gap across the line was only about 0.02 of a second. So you can just see how close they were. They weren't nose to tail at all. Have a look ahead here. Tony Kernan on Matt Madigan. Madigan falling to some troubles here in the early laps. Brilliant stuff by Tony Kernan. The TCR order, I tell you what, it's all about quality over quantity, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, these guys are really doing some amazing battling, and I don't even think Tony Kernan really showed everything that he had in qualifying. He was pretty... I'm not going to put it bluntly here. He was quite slow in qualifying, to be honest with you, in comparison to the rest of your field. But now, he is very fast. But what's happening here to Kevin Ford? He's dropping down the order.
And Daniel Rash has had issues. So look at the rear end damage to Kevin Ford's Ricmotech Motorsports car. Daniel Rash may have had a trip off the racetrack as well, we're hearing. He's alongside Cameron Martineau for the moment. Martineau back ahead here as they head through the middle part of the lap, through 7 and 8. And here's the tight left-hander of 9. That's ever so sluggish. But, Tyler, any word on what's happened to Kevin Ford there?
I'm still trying to find out what happened to Kevin Ford here. It looks to me like he just lost a couple positions. Let's try to take a look at this replay here and see exactly what happened. Oh, I think he got hit in the back there by the number 1 of Daniel Rash.
Yep, so those were the issues that we were discussing. And it's been a warning by the race stewards. The race marshal, I'll tell you what, has been is in top form today. Quick decisions, determined the aeronom incident to be inconclusive, and now a warning for Daniel Rash for that. And is that a move around the outside here by Mike? Damn, he's almost lost it. Goodness me, they're going to split him like Hakkinen and Schumacher. But for Mike, damn, that was potentially race over for a second. Guess who is leading your Mustang field? Tyler Shiflett.
And he's leading by quite some margin right now, too. Back to Jeff Jacobs. He's got a 1.2 second advantage, though, right now, does Tyler Shiflett. So he's really leading this one out. But look at this. It is Cameron Martineau and Mike Dam. Dam obviously made contact with Aeronom, which made him go down the order, and now Martineau runs wide and will also lose position to Daniel Rash. So just as I was congratulating Cameron Martineau on being very quick tonight, he immediately makes a mistake and makes me look stupid.
Yeah, he's having a move here, though, isn't he? He had a peek back onto the racing line. So there's Dam in the 93 just ahead of Daniel. Damn, Daniel. You remember that?
Man, that's a flashback.
Well, there you go. They're in 5th and 6th in this class. So I'll tell you what, the Mustang order, if Tyler Shiflett can win this, it will be a memorable one for sure. And Mike Dam, so he's fallen down the order, just confirming, since the opening lap incident with Aeronom. That's why he's fallen down the order.
Yeah, that incident right there caused him to drop all the way down to the rear of the field, and now he's having to move himself back through the field. But I think the problem right now for Mike Dam is, yes, he has another 50 minutes left in this race to go, but he's got to get through the 2 cars ahead of him, and then once he gets by Steve Daniel, then he has to catch almost 3.7 seconds to Jeff Jacobs, and then a further 1.7 seconds to Tyler Shiflett. So he's just got a lot of gap to catch, and yes, he has 50 minutes, but 50 minutes goes by very quickly.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time in this race, but as Tyler said, it'll fly by like there's no tomorrow. We begin another lap here as we flip to the lead of your MX-5 order. Greg Mack is awfully close right now. I'll tell you what, in a battle here, he's just edged ahead of Jacob Beasley, and now Greg Mack with some issues along with Jacob Beasley down the back end of the order. So they're in your MX-5 field, and there he is, Greg Mack into the wall, David Payton into the wall potentially too. That's what just occurred a few seconds ago. Replay's up on screen.
So there you go, Greg Mack down the inside of that's the 154, Jacob Beasley. And then he also sends a teammate, who was that actually? David Payton into the wall. So very unfortunate. Let's try to get an onboard view here of what happened with David Payton so you can kind of really see it.
So there's Beasley in the 154. And Payton, there's damage as well to the front end. I wouldn't be surprised if he's bent the steering. And that's something that... Oh, look at this. Goodness. No brakes today. I'll tell you what, at Motegi. Now, it's a wide track, so when all the leaders catch the lap cars, it should be a little bit easier to overtake at this racetrack compared to the likes of Brands Hatch or other racetracks. But the racing continues here with Steve Daniel and Daniel Rash. Rash to the left of screen. Steve Daniel in an SKKJ racing car in the 67. Outside line, he's trying to make it work. Not sure how he did that. Cameron Martineau with a bad exit, though, could fall under attack from the Flying Tortoise Motorsports car of Russ Ruddock here.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Car 2 drive-through penalty. So that was Greg Mack. So he will drop to the rear of your MX-5 field after he serves that. But like you said, this Motegi track's very wide. But it's going to be a bit difficult if these guys are too wide trying to pass these lap cars. So it's going to be interesting whether they try to single file it out or if they continue to go too wide. And when they hit that traffic, then you're getting into the 3 and 4 wide, which at that point it gets a little bit tight, even around a very wide racetrack like Motegi.
Now, pit windows are about to open in about 5 to 10 minutes' time. We're expecting each field to take 2 tires, Tyler. And again, strategy comes into play in these races. It's only going to be a one-stop race, most likely. There's a chance that some MX-5 drivers, we're talking about a 2-stop, but I think that's quite ridiculous. I don't think that will happen. But nevertheless, though, like we said, the pit stops make or break the race. And without Aeronom out there racing in the Mustang order, who's going to step up and win this race on strategy?
Yeah, that is really the question of the day, is who's going to just promote themselves and be like, look, I am now the strategy guru. That's the word I'm looking for. The strategy guru of the series, because that is really what Aeronom is. And to be honest with you, we just see everyone else kind of go with the more traditional strategy that everyone else is going with. And I would love to see someone decide to just be like, look, I'm going for a different kind of strategy to the rest of the field.
No, that's not a cheater, ladies and gentlemen. That's Eric Violet lapping your MX-5 order. He's flying through on the straight. Right behind him, Brandon Whitworth does the same. And they make their way past the lap cars for the first time. This is tough for Kevin Carlisle in the ART car, as cones go flying into oblivion. Carlisle, I'll tell you what, managed that well. Could have gone a lot worse for him as he disposes of Holland and the rest of the MX-5 order here. This is tough, though. I tell you what, I'd expect this track to be a little bit easier to lap cars, but it doesn't look easy so far.
No, it certainly doesn't look all that easy. I would love to get an onboard here with one of these TCR cars. Let's actually do that. Let's jump on board here with Matt Madigan.
So this is 7 and 8. Oh, man, that's close. Now, if you were watching the reverse mirror there, it's very difficult to see, but he just by a matter of inches disposed of that was Jacob Beasley. Now he gets rid of Brennan Horan. Oh, look at this. Bobby Childs taking advantage of Madigan's patience. Childs has a rush. And he's up into 5th with that move on Madigan. Madigan has fallen to last place in this class.
And I just want to go ahead, Johnny, and bring this up because we were talking about this pre-broadcast here. I had said if Madigan does well this race, he has a shot at winning the championship. And I've commentators cursed the man before the broadcast has even begun because he immediately gets shoved to the back.
I mean, I don't know if you've cursed the guy. I think he needs to do a better job than this because, I mean, he was way... I can understand him being cautious, making his way past the lap cars. It's a bit of luck, too, as to where you catch those cars. But he certainly could have managed that a lot better. You know, he could have... I think he was just unaware that Childs was going to throw it up the inside. So here's Madigan, unsurprisingly, back up through the order past Lucas Ford. You still think he can get a podium, though?
I think it's certainly possible for Matt Madigan. I think that he can... certainly get himself back up there, and we've seen him have pace in the past. It's just about the size of gap that he has to catch because once he catches Bobby Childs, which is a second ahead of him, he's got another 5 seconds up to Tony Kernan.
Tony Kernan, like we said, is driven splendidly.
Travis Schwenke, I think, had an incident. Yeah,
oh,
I think he's been hit by a TCR car.
So, is this a replay we're watching right now? I think we switched to Kevin Carlisle. Oh, look at that, versus Brandon Whitworth. This is a battle for second in class. Oh, so this is the incident here. Schwenke's had... Oh,
into
so
the back of
was
Bossy.
actually with the 17 of Bossy, who's having such a splendid event. Hopefully not too much damage. And so that was... Oh, this is... Goodness, this is madness right now, lapping these cars.
It really is, and to be honest with you, let's take a look just a second here at the move that Bobby Childs made because I'm still trying to figure out myself exactly how he made that move, and you can see he's gotten a warning for it. He sent it down the inside to Bobby Childs. Wow.
Well, I mean,
that's touring car racing at its finest, but look at that. Schwenke. That's a drive-through penalty, and he's going to be effectively out of this race.
Wow. So, drive-through penalty for Schwenke? I'm just trying to find it right now.
Oh, Schwenke's dead.
Oh, goodness me. Wow. Schwenke's had a tough incident. Oh, he's... Okay. So that's bizarre.
I think...
He's done that deliberately.
Okay, wait. I think I may know what's happened with Travis Schwenke then. If that looked to me like hardware failure, I'm just speculating here, but I'm not so sure that Travis Schwenke didn't have a hardware failure which caused him to miss the braking zone and actually go into the back of the 17 of Jason Bossy.
So I was saying it looks like hardware failure, but did you just say that Schwenke received a drive-through, or did you get the names wrong? I'm a bit confused now.
No, Schwenke did receive a drive-through penalty. I saw it at the bottom of the screen. If we can get clarification from race control, that would be amazing. But I'm almost positive that I saw him get a drive-through penalty.
All right, well, we'll get that confirmed because that's what confused me. I thought he just had a rage quit, but it looked like a failure too. But we'll wait until Travis makes comment on that for sure. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Definitely looked like something gone very wrong here for Travis. His race, he was in third, I think, what was it, 2 minutes ago? He's out of the race now. Wow.
Yeah, how quickly things can change here. And that is what this track throws up. It throws up a lot of different things. Obviously, hardware failure isn't so much controllable, but the rest of the stuff that we've seen is just kind of nature of the circuit, and that's honestly what gives it its incredible battles that we see. And here's another great battle that we have here. It's Whitworth, Carlisle, and Kernan. This is the battle for second place in TCR.
Yeah, so this is what was heating up as they were lapping your MX5 leaders. Alessandrini and Allen survived. Rankin promoted into fourth. Bossy, though, I think with minimal damage, is still in the fourth position. So Jason Bossy can still capitalize on this brilliant race he's been having. As we watch Whitworth here look ahead at his teammate Violet lead the race. Will this be a dream 1-2 finish for D2D Esports? Or will championship leader Kevin Kyle aim to ruin that for the Apex Racing team? He's gunning for his third race win in a row. And without William Laster in the field, certainly possible here. There's one less challenger. And Tony Kernan in the 84 behind's also having a splendid race. So he'll be looking to capitalize if there's any incidents between these two up ahead. But nice to see our TCR action. Tell you what, never gets any less entertaining as we switch from circuit to circuit.
No, I mean, it most certainly doesn't, and that's just one of the things that TCR seems to always bring, no matter what kind of setting you put it in. It always just has some incredible close quarters racing, and it's certainly delivering once again here tonight.
So pit window about to open in a few laps' time. This is Jeff Jacobs on screen. He's right behind Tyler Shiflett, who leads our GS class. Is that a McDonald's livery behind the 29 of Patrick Previnus? Or am I seeing stuff?
Actually, yes, it is.
Wow.
It most certainly is.
I hope that's a... I think... Is McSabbath. Wow. If you read that on the...
I want to get a closer look at this. Oh, Derek Holland dropping down the order. That's unfortunate. Oh, okay. Just a bit sideways then for Derek Holland. False alarm. Averted here. I just want to see what's... Now I want to see what's on the side of Patrick Previnos's car, because... Oh, this may win livery of the season here.
Yeah, wow. I hope that's a real McDonald's sponsorship. Otherwise, you're not allowed to use that. But can we get an onboard shot of the rear end of the car or something? The rear tire?
We can certainly try. That's about the best that I can do.
Well, it sort of says McSabbath there. I'd love to know what that means. Can Patrick Previnus... Can anybody who's spotting for Patrick Previnus, can you come on line for a mid-race interview? More than happy to have you here on Apex Racing TV's Discord channel as the 31 of Cameron Martineau makes his way past in his striking Martineau Racing livery. And the 95 of Russ Ruddock, the Flying Tortoise Motorsports car, also trying to do the same. But there's that McDonald's, what am I saying? McDonald's livery car of Patrick Previnus making his way through. Now, this is Jacob Beasley. He's made the switch to D2D Esports this season, Tyler, and he hasn't had the best of campaigns. We thought he was going to make a bigger step up than he has. But I tell you what, 6th place so far isn't that bad.
No, I mean, it most certainly isn't for Jacob Beasley. He's doing quite well in this race and just keeping himself intact. And really, honestly, that could inevitably get him a top 5 or maybe even a top 3, depending on how argy-bargy the rest of the field gets. Cameron Martineau, the first of the Mustangs into the pit lane, though.
First of the pit stops. And it's the Martineau Racing car in your GS class. So we've also had David Payton and Aeronom make trips into the pit lane, but of course they're out of contention in this race. Payton is out of the race, of course. Aeronom the same. So this is your first official pit stop that was scheduled. And for Carlisle, he's up in a second. He's made the move here on Brandon Whitworth as they head through the final few corners. None of these cars enter the pit lane. We normally see the TCR vehicles, Tyler, run a bit longer than the rest of the bunch.
Yeah, those guys are usually able to run until about the 40 to 50 minute mark, depending on the track and depending on how much time they're on full throttle. At a track like this, I would expect them to come in closer to the 40-minute mark because you're on full power quite a bit, and there's also quite a bit of heavy acceleration zones where The fuel is at a high usage, so I would expect the TCR guys to come in around the 40-minute mark, and I would expect everyone else to be coming in now up until about that point. So the TCR definitely has the latest of the pit stop phases, but we just kind of gotten into it for your GS and ST field.
Yep, so that's something to look out for. Here, there's a bit of contact. Carlisle, I think, had some a mid-corner issue there, and Whitworth using the bumper just to give him a love tap, as we used to call it back in the day. And that's put Tony Kernan in contention here for a podium. Carlisle, he's got something wrong with him, Carlisle. He's mucked up the line into 7 and 8. And I'm not sure if he's struggling on the tires here. Don't forget the Audi TCR, as we watch Elvis Rankin, one of our leaders in the MX-5, service for right side tires. TCR is a front-wheel drive car.
Yeah, most certainly is, and it's very difficult sometimes to keep the front wheel, or the front tire, intact on that TCR car, especially at a track like this where there's a lot of high-speed corners as well as a lot of very hard acceleration zones where you can really easily spin up the front tires and cause yourself a lot of tire wear. And that's really something that we'll see the drivers kind of immediately pick up speed as soon as they come out of the pits, because they will have those two front fresh tires on the car. And surprisingly, honestly, the rear tires on the TCR car don't take hardly any damage. Those tires are usually have more than maybe 1 or 2% after a 60-minute race, but the front tires, after around 1 to 40-minute stint, those guys are going to be absolutely cooked.
Is that really an accurate percentage there? 1 to 2% for the rears?
It really honestly is. It's something that we even see in the real life. I mean, constantly we'll be flipping our tires from front to rear just to keep the wear cycle on them, because our rear tires don't get any wear whatsoever, but our fronts, they're cooked.
Well, my road car is front-wheel drive, unfortunately. So I might be needing to switch my front to rear tires, as long as the dimensions aren't the same. Remember in Formula One back in the 80s and 90s, they ran some massive rear tires. They still do that today as well. So as long as they can fit front to rear, that's the only thing you got to consider, Tyler, is whether or not the tire dimensions fit. From those front to rears.
Yeah, most certainly, and it's something that these TCR guys, especially the Audis, I know the Audis seem to have kind of the worst tire wear of the mainstream TCR cars. So, but that is what we have in the sim, and it's a very fun car to drive, let me tell you. If you haven't tried it, I would highly recommend it. It's not for everyone, but it's certainly a fun car to take around and try out. But Mike Dam is into the pit lane. He's your first of the front-running Mustang field to enter the box.
This is critical for Mike Dam, the Canadian. Kevin Ford also into the pit lane as well. He's joined by Russ Ruddock. Russ Ruddock's also into the box. So important pit stops for your GS class. Elvis Rankin's coming early for your MX-5. We do expect the GS class to come in around this time, but for Rankin to pop in a lap ago, that was quite early. There's the front end damage to Daniel Rash's Mustang, and here's the Lil King racing a driver of Elvis Rankin with some clean air. He's going to lose the draft, though, Tyler. Let's see if the undercut can work, though, for the young man, but all eyes, of course, are on Mike Dam. He's out of the pit lane. Quick pit stop for Mike Dam is only one for the day, and he's fed out in the 5th position. I think he's got some clear track.
Yeah, I believe he does. Yes, he does have some pretty clear track. He's got a couple TCR cars coming up behind him. But other than that, he has a very clean track. But back to your point with Elvis Rankin, I think it's a little bit too early for him. I think if he didn't need to come in this early on, he really shouldn't have, because all he's done is lost himself the draft. And around here, the draft is worth a huge amount, because there's quite a bit of straightaways here where you can gain a ton of time by being in the slipstream.
Have a look at Mike Dam maneuvering his way around the number 2 of Greg Mack. And a TCR coming to lap both of them. This is very interesting. That's Kevin Carlisle sliding that Audi into 7 and 8. And trouble for Whitworth in the 42. They've lost that 1-2 potential finish. And it's not going to help Brandon Whitworth here through turn 9. And now with a run to turn 10, Tony Kernan's probably had enough of this as well. Could potentially throw it up the inside here. Opts to stay behind for the moment. He's a bit too far back. And let's see if any of these TCR drivers come in early. That will be very optimistic, but it's certainly an opportunity if they want to get rid of the traffic to come in now.
Yeah, certainly is here. And as we kind of get to the midway point in the race, we will go to a short ad break, but we will stay nonstop here on Apex Racing TV, and we'll come back in about 5-ish minutes time to catch the final 25 minutes of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series live from Motegi. Don't go anywhere.
Coming to return here, there's your leader, Eric Violet, exiting pit lane and maintaining the lead here for your top-class Audi TCR field. Welcome back to round 5 for season 16 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. All coverage today is on Apex Racing TV. It's presented by Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment and, of course, Performer Elite Texas Graphics. Jonathan Simon in the commentary booth, Tyler Maxon alongside me. Tyler, we had our ad break, and a lot of leaders have entered the box here in the past couple of minutes. Those include Eric Violet and Brandon Whitworth. For Kevin Carlisle, he's dropped 2 spots here in the pit phase.
Yes, he has. So Kevin Carlisle has lost some time in the pit stop phase here, but everyone in your TCR and your GS Mustang class have stopped in this race. And now we're just waiting on a few drivers in your ST field. John Allen's the first of the people who haven't come in for their pit stop. There's very few that actually are yet to make a pit stop. That's John Allen, Jason Bosse. Then it is Jacob Beasley and Brandon Huron, who are yet to make a stop. But I would assume that all of those guys are going to be coming in either this lap or next lap. You can see there's Beasley and Brendan as well, all into the pit lane. So now this is the race out of pit lane for John Allen and Jason Bosse against DJ Alessandrini and Elvis Rankin.
Now, has one of those drivers opted for 4 tires? It was difficult to see. Bosse certainly opted for 4 tires. For John Allen, he's continued. We caught the end of that pit stop for John Allen, so we're unsure if he's taken 4 tires. Definitely taken 2. He rejoins behind Elvis Rankin, who's promoted to second. Now, remember, Rankin is on quite worn rubber, so we're not sure how long he'll stay in that second position. DJ Alessandrini still maintains the lead, though. Jacob Beasley, Brendan Horan just entering the pit lane for their final stops of the day. So that's everybody in for their pit stops today. Not expecting anybody else here back out in the field. But Tyler, pretty entertaining pit stop phase now.
Yeah, very entertaining pit stop phase for sure. But this is the key here. DJ Alessandrini currently holds a 3-second advantage over Elvis Rankin, and that could be crucial here, heading in now to what is the final 22 minutes of this race, because that's quite a bit of a gap that Rankin has to close up, especially with the traffic getting in the mix of things as the race goes on.
So let's update your field right now. Eric Violet leads your TCR order. You're watching the battle for third here with Kevin Carlisle. No, excuse me. God, that was proper Maury Walker, that. That was a lapped car. It was Kevin Ford. He was making his way past. That's so embarrassing. But ladies and gentlemen, you can go easy on me. Kevin Carlisle is in 4th for the moment in class. He's separated by Brandon Whitworth and Tony Kernan. Tony Kernan, after starting last, has had one of the brilliant performances I've ever seen in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Brilliant stuff from Tony himself. The rest of the order includes Bobby Childs in 5th, Matthew Madigan, who's had an abysmal result. He'll be lamenting this one for quite some time. And then Lucas Ford in 7th. But still time for Matt Madigan to make amends for both he and the Nerdworks Racing's performance today. Tyler Shiflett leads your Mustang order. Now, that is official, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not making that up. Can we switch to Tyler Shiflett for the moment? Because he leads this for the moment, right ahead of Mike Dam there, who's looking to claim the lead here for the first time this race. Mike Dam was involved in an incident with Aero Nom in the early stages, and that's what put Mike Dam down the order. But he's got an opportunity here to win his second race of the campaign. Only 5 races in after Aero Nom was officially a DNF for the first time in, I think, quite a few seasons. If we had an official statistician on standby, we try and find the official information on that. But that's the battle for the lead continuing away here. And we'll see whether or not Mike Dam pulls off a move. He doesn't. He'll remain patient for the moment. But this could happen across this next straight. So while I talk through the rest of the order, let's see if it gets done. They're heading under the oval here. Through 7 and 8 for the moment. Tyler, look at this. Tyler Shiflett's on the defensive. I'm talking to you, Tyler Maxon, but the other Tyler here is trying his utmost hardest to keep this lead away from the Canadian.
Yeah, he most certainly is. I mean, he doesn't want to lose it now. because he's led now for 40 minutes in this race. He's done such a good job to capitalize on what Mike Dam opened the door for him pretty much, but Mike Dam is about to take it back here, but Shiflett is really defending hard, and Shiflett actually has some very nice pace, to be honest with you. He's not that much slower than Mike Dam behind him, who is in the draft, so I'm actually quite impressed with Tyler Shiflett's pace at the moment.
Brilliant stuff from Shiflett. He's no stranger to the Mustang. Just wish Clint Vigas was out here racing today. I'd love to know how Clint Vigas would have fared in this topsy-turvy race in the Mustang order. So Jeff Jacobs currently holds the provisional podium spot in third. Steve Daniel fourth. Then, of course, Daniel Rash, Cameron Martineau, Kevin Ford, and Russ Ruddock round out the rest of the Mustang field. For your MX-5 order, DJ Alessandrini, tell you what, splendid result for the moment for him in the number 91. Leads this field away here by a few seconds ahead of John Allen, who will just pop in shot right there. Perfect timing by John Allen. Elvis Rankin, of course, is right behind Allen. That's your top three on screen as the Audis lap themselves around. There's Kevin Carlisle in the 72 trying to make his way past the leader. That was close. Is there contact? Tell you what, Kevin Carl's had to back out of it for sure.
Yeah, Carlisle really having to back out of that one. It was that was close to say the least through turn number one. But they go through no contact. They get through unscathed. But this battle's still going on here for the lead in your GS field. Tyler Shiflett is still defending beautifully.
Brilliant stuff from Tyler Shiflett. Is that you, Tyler Maxson, racing while commentating under a different name? No, it's not. Oh, look at this. It might be you. Look, I made you laugh, and just as you laughed, he had a moment there through the exit of turn 7 and 8. This is the left-hander of 9. And then the tight hairpin of turn 10 could determine this battle right now if you can get it wrong. Trail breaking through the corner. And now on towards the longest straight out here on the road course. Off the racetrack is Tyler Shiflett, trying to carry as much speed here on the straight. Mike Dam's got some energy. It's a downhill braking zone, so he needs to be careful of getting that heavy Mustang stopped in time, and I think he opts not to go for the move. That's the difficulty of this corner, Tyler, is that if you go for a dive bomb, you most likely end in that gravel trap on the outside.
Yeah, you most certainly will, especially if you overshoot it. And even if you get yourself 2 tires into the grass, it's extremely easy to overshoot and end up way out off the race circuit. Now, there is quite a bit of runoff there, but you don't really want to be using all of that runoff unless you've had a very serious incident down into that corner, because if you're using it as a normal racing line, I suggest that you find a different one to use.
Oh, and drifting here on Japanese tarmac is Shiflett. Unfortunately, though, that could concede the lead for him. Mike Dam's got a nose ahead. He was ahead for a moment. Just doesn't have the racing line here. But he's going to stick it around the outside, the Canadian. And he's going to pursue a move into first. He's got it. Signed, seal delivered for Mike Dam. Up into first position for the first time this race.
And Steve Daniel has had some sort of incident. Let's jump back here. Let's try to see exactly what happened with Daniel. He was in 5th place. He actually stays in 5th place here. Oh, he just gets a tap from behind from Daniel Rash, who is actually up in 4th place. Sorry, but then got the hit from Rash. And now Rash goes away unscathed. But luckily for Steve Daniel, though, doesn't make contact with any sort of barriers. So he will be able to continue on with really no repercussions other than a very bent-in rear bumper and about 9 seconds lost.
Race stewards will be having a look at that for sure. Being kept busy here. I think they were hoping they wouldn't be, just due to the nature of the racetrack. Eric Violet, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, he is under attack here from teammate Brandon Whitworth. They have an opportunity to finish 1-2. I'd still love to know what happened to Carlisle during the pit stop phase. Just went bizarre for him.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of confused, honestly, about what happened to him because, I mean, he was in a perfect position pretty much. He didn't really have all that much, didn't didn't look to me like he had any damage on the car that needed to get fixed. I mean, the Audi TCR is a tank, so I wouldn't imagine that he would have had anything to get fixed up. So very interesting to me why he lost so much time.
Oh, and through turn 1, that's the 24 there of Tyler Shiflett. Out and away. Where is Mike Dam? Mike Dam is... Oh, there he is on screen. Excuse me. Mike Dam is now broken away from Tyler Shiflett for the lead. I think he might not be looking back here, as Daniel Rash officially black flagged Tyler. He's received a penalty for that.
Yes, Daniel Rash receiving a pretty well-deserved penalty there for the contact that he made, and he will drop to the rear of your Mustang field. So I think pretty much every driver in the field, besides really Shiflett, Jacobs, Daniel, have all had a turn at the very rear end of this field now, for the most part.
So interesting to see how this race finishes here. We're 46 minutes through. It's an hour event. So how do you see your TCR field playing out here? Eric Violet's led every lap. Do you think he's going to win this race?
It's honestly, right now, I think it's too close to call that. I just don't see a surefire winner yet, but if I had to make a guess, I'm going to say it's probably going to be between one of the D2D esports cars there. So that's who I've got my money on, either one of those two cars. Now, whether it's Eric Violet or Brandon Whitworth, that I'm not sure of.
Your Mustang order, it looks like Mike Dam, doesn't it? 5.3K in terms of I rating. And it's not sold any short, is it, today? He's driven ever splendidly. But for Jeff Jacobs, for the Street Survival car, it'll be a memorable podium if you can make it stick here ahead of Cameron Martineau.
Yeah, certainly will be. And I mean, talk about a memorable race. I think Tyler Shiflett, this will be a very memorable one for him. He led a good portion of this one and only just got outdone there by Mike Dam at the 45-minute mark. I mean, he led this race for a solid 45 minutes and then lost it there with just 15 minutes left to go. But still a memorable race and a very good one at that.
Yep, so your leaders of Alessandrini and Allen, they're still in a nice scrap here for your MX-5 field. It'll be interesting to see how they fare in the closing stages. Elvis Rankin also in contention for the lead, so those are the three drivers we'll look out for as well. Jason Bossi, though, not a performance we usually see from him. Tyler, why do you think he switched on today? It's a difficult question, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's... to be honest with you, I'm really not quite sure. But some of the time, you know, tracks just suit different drivers, and obviously it's suiting him very well here.
So we watch Eric Violet here in the closing stages. And under attack from Whitworth. Carlisle and Kernan battling for the third position. They were alongside each other for the moment, heading into turn 9 and 10. Trying to see if that's them back in... Yes, it is. That's them in shot here. So Kevin Carlisle just had a peek there in the back of the shot. Carlisle looking for a podium. He's also in contention for the win here, Carlisle. Let's not forget. He's got some pace. It's up to the D2D esports drivers to not battle away. And I'll tell you what, it sounds annoying, but I think team orders might be the best option here to maintain their 1-2 finish.
Yeah, it most certainly could be, but to be honest with you, some of the time having teammates honestly makes the end of the race even more exciting because they're so eager to get the win for their team, especially the first one in the TCR class, I believe. I don't actually believe the D2D has gotten a TCR class win yet, so, but nonetheless, it's a very interesting battle to watch because teammates some of the time almost battle harder than drivers who are on different teams.
Yeah, it depends, of course, as well. I've had some some moron teammates in sim racing who would do that. But generally in sim racing, you get along with your teammates, don't you? You know, you want to beat them, but it's not as bad as the real world where it depends on it depends on your job. You know, you're better than your teammate or not. You really have to work together in sim racing. That's the dynamic where, you know, I just like how it works so differently.
Yeah, I certainly do as well, but look at this battle we got going on for the lead in MX5. This is John Allen and DJ Alessandrini. They are ever so close now. Just 0.2 of a second separate them.
Yeah, good stuff here. So, like we said, this is one of the battles we'll keep an eye on. Kernan and Carlisle, it's just difficult to see at the back of the shot, but they're also in a scrap for the final podium position. John Allen's in the lead. John Allen is in the lead in the meantime. Just as I was beginning that sentence, he's flicked himself ahead of DJ Alessandrini for that first position in your MX5 order. And hopefully we can get a shot of that as soon as possible here. John Allen, though, has taken the lead for the first time this race.
Very simple move then for John Allen, and he will make he keeps himself up in the, gets himself up in the lead, and so far he's kept it up in the lead. Here has John Allen. So right now he leads this race out by just half a second, but DJ Alessandrini is just behind him in second place. He's not letting him move out too far. A little bit of connection issues there for Alessandrini, but nothing too worrying. We still have 8 minutes left in this race, so anything still can happen. So we jump back to the lead in TCR.
And look at this, Eric Violet here maneuvering his way past the 79 of Nicolas Parsenot, the Frenchman. He's racing out there, one of 2 Europeans in the field today. And the racing is going to continue here. I tell you what, this is a nerve-wracking event right now. John Allen, though, also under attack from DJ Alessandrini. And Alessandrini right now in the lead battle for MX5. He's looking closer and closer here. So, of course, we watched the battle between Violet and Whitworth. Carlisle and Kernan continue, but I'd really love to see Alessandrini here take that lead back here from John Allen. Look how close it is between the two here. Allen is on extremely... Wow, goodness me, I don't know what that is. That's extreme defensive driving here from John Allen. Already taking to the racing line, heading into turns 2 and 3. And Allen right now, he knows he's got to try something different, Tyler, which is good to see.
Yeah, and he most certainly is trying something different here, is John Allen. He wants this race win, and he is determined to keep it. He only has 7 more minutes that he has to keep ahead of the very fast DJ Alessandrini. Alessandrini, I believe, has led every lap of this race up until the point that Allen took the race lead. That does not include the pit stop laps, though. But other than that, though, Alessandrini really just has been the ultra-dominant car here in this field, and he is currently keeping John Allen honest, but Allen is slowly but surely extending that race lead out.
Oh, good stuff from John Allen here as well. The pit stop phase, succeeding this didn't help DJ Alessandrini so far, but it'll still be good for the championship. Good points for him. He finishes ahead of Elvis Rankin, doesn't he? It's poor for Travis Schwenke, because Schwenke's the driver, Tyler, who needed points today to climb back into the top 4. But DJ Alessandrini, nevertheless, will maintain the championship lead, but John Allen will close it up here. He'll actually climb to second in the championship, will John Allen, with this result, with first place ahead of Elvis Rankin.
Yeah, most certainly will, so it's another thing that Rankin has to keep in mind as Allen runs a little bit wide. So we were talking about it earlier. It's very easy to run wide in that corner, and it seemed to have cost him a couple of tenths there, but he bounced back from it very, very quickly. And he is now at about a 6.5 tenths of a second gap. But look at the run there for Alessandrini. He had a wonderful run out of the final corner, and he'll also use the slipstream to close that gap just a little bit. But Allen, it's just that little bit too close, or a little bit too far, sorry, that Alessandrini just can't quite get to the bumper yet.
Tough onslaught between these two. It's going to continue in the remaining laps here. We'd love to look down the order a little bit more with some of the battles, but it's just, I mean, when you got racing like this for the race lead, you just don't want to keep your eyes off. Brendan Horan is also close here, of course, to Derek Holland in the Indy Autosport car. They're battling for 7th and 8th in class, so that's another scrap taking place. But let's flick back to your lead for your Audi TCR, because Eric Violet and Brandon Whitworth here are being closed down by Kevin Carlisle and Tony Kernan. I think it's a little too late, because there's less than 4 minutes remaining now in this event. But who's that in the 154? Is that so I see the 45 there of Brendan Horan. That's the battle I was talking about. Brendan Horan and Jacob Beasley, excuse me. So the leaders are coming up to that scrap, and this could change the race possibly. It's going to cost them an immense amount of time. But for the moment, Tyler, I think that Brandon Whitworth is going to finish this race in second. I don't think he's going to make a move on his teammate.
You say that, but I mean, you never know what happens with a lap to go. I mean, they've got a 3.5 second lead over Tony Kernan, so if it gets down to last corner, last lap, you never know. Whitworth may fancy his opportunity and maybe just try and send one down the inside of Violet, as long as it's not too risky of a move. But we'll have to see. I mean, he looks content with running in second, but drivers always look content with running in second until you dangle the win in front of their face about a lap from the end.
I'll tell you what, Multi-21 is in order. Whether or not Sebastian Vettel here in second is going to take the position away from Weber, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the D2D Esports team are a lot better organized in terms of politics than that back in 2013. And there's the 09 of Geordie Fike straight out of the way here. I haven't seen much of George Fike today. I'm not sure how his race has progressed, but he's in 5th. It's been a quiet 5th place for him. But we haven't seen him much on screen as the leaders continue away. I think they should be okay, but the gap now, they've lost a second due to that lap traffic, Tyler, with just about... We're going to get 2 laps left in this race now as they cross the line. There's that McDonald's car of Patrick Prevonis. But we're going to get 2 laps left in this race. So... if anything goes wrong for the D2D Esports cars, it's going to be Kernan and Carlisle to capitalize, but it's going to be a dramatic finish if that does occur.
Yeah, most certainly will be a very, very dramatic finish if those two do somehow come together in the very last few seconds of the race. I believe the drivers got 2 laps to go that time by. Correct me if I'm wrong, though.
Yeah, that's what I just said. So they should have... oh, I'm loving it. They make their way past that McDonald's car. But they... yeah, so this should be the penultimate lap here. There'll be 1 to go next time they cross the line. It will be close, though. As now... You think Whitworth could have won this race had he not had his teammate up in first?
I think Whitworth still can win this race, even though his team isn't first, to be honest with you. I'm always one of those people that, you know, I believe teammates or not, at the end of the day, I'm still going for the race victory, whether you're there or not. And to me, Whitworth looks hungry. He doesn't want to finish down in second place. I think he's going to have a go at the move on maybe even on this lap, if not the next lap.
The trick I used to use as a driver is I used to show that I could pass my teammate at every corner to show that I was quicker and then finish in second. Not to, you know, create drama. Just so I proved to my team, like, yeah, you know, we wanted to finish 1-2. The first driver's taking it easy, but I had the pace. But I think they'll be okay anyway. There's about 20 seconds remaining in this race. We should get another lap in, just to confirm. But it's been a good race nevertheless from these two. And yeah, that's confirmed, Tyler. We'll get another lap in here. Cold conditions out there at Motegi, isn't it? 19-degree track temp, 18 degrees ambient. So it's been pretty easy in terms of grip. But as you Americans like to say, Tyler, the white flag waves.
Yes, it most certainly does. The white flag is out here. And we will see 1 more lap to go here for your leaders in TCR and the leaders in every class thus far. Mike Dam comes around. He will start his final lap. So too will John Allen and DJ Alessandrini. So, right now, it is Eric Violet and Brandon Whitworth. Those two fighting for the race lead. You can see Whitworth poking his nose out then. They have to be careful if they want to fight. They need to do it at the end of the lap because they don't want to let Kernan and Carlisle get close. And speaking of a nice battle there, Kernan and Carlisle are extremely close for third and fourth.
Pressure's on. Carlisle here trying to make a move onto the podium. He'll maintain the championship lead nevertheless, but it won't be a good strong haul of points for him. So I don't think he's going to repeat 3 wins in a row. It's going to go to Eric Violet for the first time this season. Eric Violet, no stranger to first place anyway. He's won some races before in the series. He's going to do it again for the first time in the Audi TCR class in its inaugural season. But I think Kevin Carlisle's a bit too far behind for the moment. He's going to throw that car into turn 10. He's going to try and get an immense run here onto the straight. I think he's a bit too far behind. So let's have a look at Eric Violet. It's a dream result here for both him and the D2D esports team. We thought they lost that potential 1-2 finish, but when it came to the pit phase, they got it all right. Successful result for him here at round 5 for Motegi. And for the first time in quite some time, D2D Esports will win round 5, season 16 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Brandon Whitworth will come home in second behind Violet. It's a 1-2 finish for the team. Tony Kernan with a podium. One of the best performances we've ever seen in the campaign. Carlisle, our championship leader, can do no greater than fourth today. We had a look at Mike Dam there for a second. He looks good to win your Mustang class. This is John Allen on screen in a battle with DJ Alessandrini. It looks like those two will remain in these two positions for the moment. Now, where is Mike Dam on screen here, Tyler? He's close to winning this race. There he is. Mike Dam will officially win your GS class for season 16, round number 5.
Yeah, what a performance then by Mike Dam. He was up at the front, then made early race contact with Aeronom, which sent him out of the race, and then came back through the field to win it by 4 seconds over Tyler Shiflett. Beautiful result for him, but this is the battle that we got to keep an eye on. This is John Allen versus DJ Alessandrini. Will Alessandrini lick the stamp and send it, as Danny Ricciardo would say? Or is he just going to be content and sit back in second and have a nice points haul today over the championship rival of Elvis Rankin? Obviously, John Allen, like you said, will take over second place in the championship if he wins, and that's looking ever more likely every corner that passes.
What a performance from Allen. And he's been a strong, underrated performer here in that Defined Auto Works car. Big fan of John Allen. He's just a classy guy. Gets the job done each week. For DJ Alessandrini, he'll be a bridesmaid today, but a good performance. I don't think he should put his head down. He wants to win. He's a winner. But all eyes will be on John Allen, who will win your ST class here for round 5, season 16. Brilliant performance from John Allen. What a race, Tyler. Time to get a breath, finally.
I know, finally, a little bit of a breath in, but we're not going to get it for long because race results are up on your screen.
So Eric Violet will win officially for your Audi TCR screen. Order. Brandon Whitworth comes home in second. So a D2D Esports 1-2 ahead of Kernan Motorsports' Tony Kernan. What a result from Tony Kernan. Put your hands together for him if you're watching at home. Brilliant stuff for the number 84 driver. Kevin Carlisle comes home in fourth. Result to forget for Carlisle, but it's only one race, and he still maintains the championship lead. So the American will continue away here around 6 next week, and hope for the best. Bobby Childs had some good, strong starts today, had some good pace. Only finished 13 seconds behind your leaders after an hour, so that goes to show how close this field was. And don't forget Madigan, 16 seconds off the lead. That's a brilliant performance from Matthew Madigan, but it only gives him 6. So it looks disappointing in a sense when you look at it that way. For Lucas Ford, he ends up 7th. 24 seconds separated your entire TCR field after 1 hour. That's with no safety cars no pace cars, none of that stuff. So very competitive field here. Quality over quantity for sure. Mike Dam took his second victory of the season here after that incident with Aeronom on the opening lap. It was deemed inconclusive between the both of them. That meant that Tyler Shiflett and Jeff Jacobs were able to slot themselves onto the podium. We thought Shiflett had a chance to win this race for quite some time, but unfortunately for Shiflett, didn't go well towards the closing stages. Steve Daniel, Kevin Ford ended up 4th and 5th. Good performance from Kevin Ford. Felt like he did a lot worse than that today. Had a lot of damage as well. Was caught up in some incidents. So to end up with 5th, I think he'll be quite pleased with. Russ Ruddock in the Flying Tortoise Motorsports car ended up in 6th. Now, surprising to see Cameron Martineau down the order. Certainly must have had issues after the pit stop phase. I thought he was good for a top 4 result there at one stage. But there you go. Cameron Martineau ends up in the penultimate position. Daniel Rash ended up last. If you discount Aeronom's DNF, those were your finishers for the GS class. And then we flick to the ST class. That was John Allen taking a victory today here from Motegi ahead of Alessandrini and Rankin. Jason Bossy, hats off to Mr. Bossy. What a performance. Ended up in 4th for the class. Jordy Fike right behind him 5th. Jacob Beasley, I criticized him earlier, but I take that back. 6th place is a good result for him in his first season with D2D Esports, making the move from his own Bees Knees Racing. Brendan Horan ended up behind them, and you can see the rest of the order on screen. Where'd our McDonald's car come? Patrick Prevenas came home 4 laps down. Not the best result for Prevenas. We've seen better from him in the past. And then a few DNFs. Schwenke had no word on what happened to Schwenke. It looked like a hardware failure. Didn't see a penalty for Schwenke. Can confirm that. So certainly seemed, unfortunately, a hardware failure for Schwenke. Peyton with an incident into the wall. He was out of the race with suspension damage. And just as I explained, Aeronom with an incident on the opening lap. Seemed to be his fault, unfortunately. Something that we rarely see. Pulled off the side of the racetrack with a puncture and rear end damage to that Ford Mustang. So time for post-race interviews.
The race.
We're going to bring in... Oh, sorry to interrupt you mid-sentence there, Eric. But you know what? For a change, we're going to celebrate the 1-2 finish and bring in both you guys in from the D2D Esports team here. Bobby Charles has come in too to celebrate this. Let's start with you, Eric. This is a historic performance for the team, a brilliant one. Obviously, towards the end of the race, you sort of wanted to keep the 1-2. You didn't want to fight for the lead, but how does it feel to have a D2D Esports 1-2?
Oh, it's amazing. Brandon's been really fast last couple weeks, and even Chad had a chance at a win a couple weeks ago. But yeah, this is, I can't say I drove the perfect race, but it's nice when you get all the points, getting the pole, leading every lap, and taking the win. So it's a rare one for me, so I will definitely take it.
For you, Brandon, did you have the pace to win the race at the end, or did you decide, you know what, I don't want politics with my brilliant teammates. I'm going to remain behind in second, hope that Kevin and Tony don't catch us, and just remember this result for quite some time?
Well, it's always a problem. If someone's in front of you, you want to fight for position, but if the guys behind you are fast, you fight too much, they'll catch up, and you don't want that.
Exactly.
So
that's what
I tried to hold off to the very end before I really tried to get by them, and then on the last lap, I didn't get out of the corner coming into the downhill back straight that good, because that's where I was going to try it at, but oh well.
Bobby, for you in your race, you had a brilliant start, but I'm not sure what happened after that. You only finished 13 seconds off the lead, so the pace was there. But any room for improvement for you in future races?
Oh, of course. Just got into it with Kevin Carlisle a little bit. I kind of ran wide off the track, giving him a little room on the inside, and so that set me behind the 8-ball pretty early. And then it was just about catching up. We've got a great TCR program. Brandon and Eric have been doing a lot of work to get these cars up to pace with these really fast drivers that we've got in the series now. Kevin Carlisle, Matt Madigan, these guys are setting the standard, and to be able to show up here and getting a top 5 myself, but Brandon and Eric finishing 1-2 for the team, it's absolutely amazing.
Eric, Bobby was just talking about your brilliant your brilliant program and everything behind the scenes. You're getting that car up to speed. But how have you been so fast? You know, we haven't seen you win a race definitely this season. I can't remember the last time you won a race in the Ricmotech SportsCar series. But the pace today was just on it for you guys, you know, and you were battling with Carlisle and Madigan and all the quick guys. Was there something about Motegi and the Japanese tarmac that suited you guys?
I'm going to give some credit to Brandon here. I usually set up a car that's stable, it lasts a long time, but it's not always the fastest. And there were some adjustments to my driving line and things like that. So Brandon helped me with some of the driving there. But Brandon came across a set, and some things seemed kind of backwards on it, but we tried it out, and it was fast. So I didn't actually use that one. I tweaked my own, but it was definitely a point in the right direction.
And Brandon, when you talk about setup, is that just extracting more grip from the car, running soft springs? Is there something else that you've been doing?
No, you pretty much hit the nail on the head right there. It's can't run too firm because it seems like the dampers on this car just can't handle the firm springs. So we run kind of the middle of the road and try to make sure we got a lot of grip.
Hey, if you spill one more secret, Brandon, I might jump into the Audi next week and try and battle you guys. So feel free to give me some advice behind the scenes if you want, mate.
Oh, we're going to put a bounty on you.
Yeah, as the team manager, I'm declaring right now, Brandon, don't say anything else.
There you go. Bobby, a lot of people to thank, of course. You said you're team manager. Feel free to shout out the sponsors.
I appreciate it. First off, I want to send a shout out to Chad Parker, who's sitting at home tonight. He had a great result at Barber. He's got some changes going on in his life, and the whole team wishes him the best. He's been cheering us on tonight. Primarily, I want to thank Deb and Jim List at D2D Motorsports, Chris Thorman at Proforma, Elite Texas Graphics. We want to thank Nick's Dog Treats as well. Those guys, we're carrying Nick, as always, to bring attention to the great work they're doing there to help people with challenges get work as they go through their lives. And I'm just really thrilled with this result tonight.
Eric, Brandon, anyone to thank before we let you go?
Besides the sponsors and the admins and you guys, I have a shout out to special woman in my life. My mother-in-law has gone through some issues lately, and hopefully she's watching tonight, and just a big shout out to her.
Yeah,
Brandon?
big thanks to my family for letting me do it, and a big shout out to Bobby Childs.
So there you go. That's your D2D Esports crew from your TCR order. We'll let you guys go, but thanks for the interview. Nevertheless, guys. For now, though, we're going to drag in. It'll be Mike Dam. Sorry, Mike. We were dragging everybody mid-sentence today.
No problem.
Mike Dam will be alongside Tyler Maxson.
Mike, I mean, I don't really know what much to say. It was a very interesting race from you. You obviously made a bit of contact with Aeronom at the beginning of that one. Kind of talk us through that incident, and obviously that put you quite a ways down the order, and you really had to work your way up to the front.
Yeah, like it was another close qualifying between the two. I had to start on the outside, so I did my best to hold that outside line, and I felt like I did a pretty decent job of it. I still had the overlap there going for the run, and unfortunately, I don't know, I was out of real estate. I was on the grass, and he just came over. My nose was overlapped, so unfortunately he spun there.
Yeah, very unfortunate, and obviously you had to make your charge through the field once that happened, and you really just took a dominating performance at that point. Once you kind of got out of that incident, and you seemed to be out damage-free, and yeah, I mean, you just really worked your way through the field. I mean, kind of give us a little bit of comments about that one, because that had to be a bit interesting. You don't usually have to work your way from the back to the front.
Yeah, it was a little interesting in that way. I mean, I don't like, obviously your number one competitor go down early, but it was definitely a challenge. It wasn't easy. This track doesn't have a lot of grip for trying to get runs and stuff like that. So I actually had a bunch of times where, I got pretty loose and had to actually relinquish a spot. So I just tried to keep it clean, and I didn't want to ruin anyone else's race. managed to get up to Tyler after the pit stop, and I mean, kudos to him. He ran a great race. He was going pretty fast, and I mean, I was trying, but he was holding those lines, and took me a good bunch of laps to get by him. So good job.
Yeah, well, congratulations on another race victory. I think you've had a race victory this season. It's flown by.
Yes, it's number 2. So.
Well, congratulations then on your second race win of the season. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Just all the guys here who make it what it is. It's a good, the admins who put it on, and obviously you guys for broadcasting. Thanks a lot. And also just got to say thanks to Frank at Ricmotech for giving us all this great gear. It's pretty awesome.
Well, congratulations once again, Mike, on your second victory this season, and we wish you luck heading into the next round.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So John Allen's up next, who was winner in your MX5 field. Welcome back, John Allen, to Victory Lane. A late race pass for you on DJ Alessandrini. Where did that pace come from after the pit stop?
I know I have pace here. This is one of my absolute favorite tracks. I actually took too much fuel, and I knew it. So maybe that put me a little more in a focus zone. But 4 seconds was a lot coming out of the pits. But traffic plays a part, and this is just one of my best tracks without a doubt. So I didn't really worry about making a pass before the pits. And plus, there was a little bit of connectivity issue. DJ was jumping around a bit, so we all kind of in that front pack weren't doing much, but just playing follow the leader to let him get that under control. But yeah, then after the pits, it was whoops, too much fuel, got to go.
You know what I think it was? I think it was your dog in the background barking and urging you on. That's what it sounds like, motivating you.
Yeah, that's my furry cheering section. It's fine as long as they don't jump on my lap trying to race.
Yeah, I've seen a few cats do that in the world of sim racing. For yourself, though, we got to wrap up here. We're going to be quick, so sorry to keep this interview short, but anybody to thank for the win?
The racing's always great. You guys broadcast, I don't know who else has said what, but tonight some things are more important than spoilers. So for those who have or have not watched the Daytona, our thoughts and prayers are with Newman right now.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very sad ending to the Daytona 500 a few hours ago. Let's hope Ryan Newman's okay. But thanks for that, John. We'll leave you to it. Hopefully see you back next week. You'll be back next week for sure, racing?
I plan to be, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 2 weeks. It'll be Road Atlanta in a couple of weeks. Yes. So there you go. Yeah, we'll leave you to it, John. Next up is, sorry to drag you, DJ. It's everybody's mid-sentence today, Tyler, but you'll be alongside DJ Alessandrini.
DJ, congratulations on second place here in Motegi. It was a close one between you and John Allen at the end. You couldn't quite get there, though.
Yeah, John managed his tires really well that race, and I was trying at the end, but he definitely had a lot more car at the end of that race. John drove a really good race and managed it well. When I came out of the pits and he was only 4 seconds behind me after I grabbed fresh tires first, I knew I was going to be in trouble. It should have been like 6 or 7 seconds.
Yeah, well, you certainly had a great race. Sorry to keep the interview pretty short here, but we do have to get the broadcast wrapped up. But is there anyone you want to give a shout-out to before we let you go?
Give a shout-out to my fiancée, Christine. I was at COTA all weekend racing with Good Life Touring Cup, and I came home and immediately hopped on the sim rig. We basically had Taco Bell together, and I jumped on this, and her patience and understanding is greatly appreciated.
Well, congratulations once again on second place here in we're about halfway through the championship now. Sorry, I can't get my words out.
Yeah, round 5 of 10 it is, Tyler. So Alessandrini still in contention for the championship. We're going to speak to Tony Kernan, Tony, we got you there? You got us, Tony? You online? If not, we'll speak to Elvis. Elvis, you're alongside Tyler for today's interview. Enjoy it.
Elvis, congratulations on another third place finish here. Obviously, not quite exactly what you would have wanted. You would have wanted a couple places higher than that, but nonetheless, it's still pretty good for you for round 5, and you still have a legitimate shot at the championship heading into the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think we got a good shot at it with some good first, good second, and counting the drop weeks, we should be able to put Brand's hatch behind us. And I think it was a really good race tonight. A little bit of a mess up on the fuel strategy, but I think besides that, it was a pretty solid race.
Yeah, certainly was indeed. And we wish you best of luck heading into the second half of the championship. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yes, I didn't get to do this last week or a couple weeks ago. I think it was at Barber, but I really wanted to send our prayers and wishes with the Bryan family, and then also tonight, I'm pretty sure they had a big accident at the 500. So just a big shout out to them, and just make sure just keep all of them safe and everyone happy. I think that's the biggest thing that I can really say for tonight.
Well, congratulations once again, Elvis, on another third place finish, and we wish you the best of luck heading into the second half of the season.
Yep, thank you guys.
All right, Tony Kernan, please tell me you were there, because that was a phenomenal result. We got to speak to you before we go. We got you? If he's not there, I'm devastated. I think we'll have to wrap up here. We can't wait any longer. So, Tyler, next week... next week we have the GT round, isn't it? I won't be there, but in 2 weeks we'll be back for Road Atlanta. So those are the next 2 races of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech. That's the next race of the SportsCar Series GT Challenge next week, like we said. Anything to note for Road Atlanta? It's one of my most favorite racetracks in the entire universe.
Well, it actually happens to be my favorite racetrack in the entire universe. I absolutely love racing there, not only on the sim, but also in the real world. And it's one of those super challenging tracks, and it's also going to be incredibly tough with that multi-class racing, especially when that traffic gets hit in the SS section. But we'll have to watch that in 2 weeks' time, like you said, when we return to the SportsCar Series.
Yep, definitely. So these roaring sports cars will be back racing again for the next race. That will be on the 2nd of March. So we're already going to head into March? Goodness me. That's in a couple of weeks' time. The year is flying right now. March already? Goodness gracious. That'll be 60 minutes around Road Atlanta. They'll host round 6 as we enter the second half of season 16 for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. All coverage will be on your beloved Apex Racing TV. Thanks, of course, to all the viewers who join us each and every week for our Sports Car Series. From myself, Jonathan Simon, Tyler Maxon alongside me, and our entire Apex Racing TV crew. Hope you enjoyed the Apex Racing TV presentation. Our winners today, of course, in our 3 classes of cars, Eric Violet, Mike Dam, and John Allen. We'll say so long from Japan, and we'll see you back in the US in a few weeks' time.